Ever had that moment where you realise you spent £120 on a new dressage bit, you've gone through the trial period, you can't give it back, and your horse much prefers, all of a sudden, his £10 alternative? Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Honestly, you wouldn't believe it. I can't actually get over it. We are doing some flat work a couple of days after cross-country schooling, which is what you'll see today. The cross-country schooling, that is, not the flat work. Yeah, I bought a new bit, did the trial period, seemed to be getting on really well with it. Then found my bit from a couple of years ago. I had a Shire's, just a loose ring lozenge bit, not very expensive. I used it a couple of years ago and I was like, oh, I used to get quite good scores with that bit. And put it in yesterday, horse went lovely. Put the Nerschula in today, horse went rubbish. So back to the Shire's bit it is. Yeah, realised I haven't actually filmed an intro or an outro actually for the cross-country schooling vlog, but here it is a couple of days later in the future. So yeah, we've gone to Oxstalls cross-country schooling, all about jumping a little bit bigger, jumping a little bit more technical. A little bit windy today, I apologise. So yeah, we've got footage from the ground, GoPro footage, so you'll get all the angles and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So I thought I would do a bit of a voiceover. This is me just warming up over a small vlog. I actually started with the water jump this time round as it was quite a hot day, as you can see from the weather. So I thought I would start with the jumps around the water jump. It was quite a good place to warm up, so I sort of circled round the water jump, walk, trot, canter, and then started jumping. Trusty felt really, really good. He can be a little bit lucky with water, he certainly has been in the past, and I found at Lincomb and at Oxstalls that seems to have disappeared completely. He was really keen to get in the water, probably had something to do with the weather. But yeah, and every question I asked him, this little boat here, I was just asking him to jump the corner of it. He was quite happy to do that. And then I opened him up. One of the things I struggle with cross country is jumping sort of out of a stride and jumping the single fences, keeping going and not checking and trying to show jump them. So I do try as best as I can when I'm out cross country schooling to put that into practice and make sure that I do get out, get him into a good rhythm and try and jump out of that rhythm. So this is me just working up the hill. He was a little bit lucky, a little bit spooky at the blue fences, so you can hear lots of encouragement. And then the last fence of this line was one with some sort of writing on it, so he was looking at that, you hear me shout one, and he was brilliant through that. Everything he just answered. Again, we came down to the water, over a little skinny. We come over the boat again, and again this is just me stringing a couple of fences together just to see how happy he was to do some combination fences. And this is the first time you'll see from the ground. Fortunately, Mum had the camera the wrong way round for this one, but it luckily goes back to landscape for everything else, but it's just so that you can see two views. Again, he could still be a little bit more forwards, I could still have him in that bigger canter. I think at the minute it's just my confidence is a little bit low, so that's where I'm just backing off a little bit, so that is getting better. We moved on to the step complex. This had a couple of fences off the step. I'm really pleased with him with this because he hasn't seen brush for a long time and he coped with it really, really well. Big bright blue house again. He is a funny horse. He'll spook at that fence if you walk past it, but point him at it and jump it, he'll go. Here I made a bit of a mistake. This was a bit of a funny stride in, and I did a dreadful stride to that and ended up being all over the shop. So I just came down off the stepping trot, popped the skinny. He's very forgiving, this horse, and he will let you get away with murder. And then you will see me jump on the flat that way, so we just made a nice fence over that, and then we came through the combination again. It was difficult to figure out whether it was 3 or 4 off the step, and actually this time round I still got the 4 and I was still a bit close. I was sort of holding for the 4, so I think it was a big 3 strides or a more subdued 4, but he still went, he was still going, so I wasn't going to keep asking. You'll see a little bit better view here. You hear me shout that I changed my mind, but it just seemed like I couldn't quite figure out what the striding should be. Probably a little bit quiet still and should move off the step a bit more and I would get the long 3. But really pleased, he kept coming, kept being happy with that. Then moved up over to the ditches. I've been very lucky with Trusty. He's never shown any sign of being ditchy at all. And this was quite a useful little complex because there were 2 small ditches with a couple of fences either side. The only issue was the edge of the schooling arena came up pretty fast there, but he was good, he was responsive to turn, a little skinny after a ditch, no problem whatsoever. I then started getting a bit brave for me and went onto this brush arrowhead. The first time again I got a bit too deep to it. I think you'll see after the second attempt with the GoPro this is obviously better, and then we'll get a better view from the ground. So here you see I'm sitting quiet, got him far too deep for it, thanked him, patted him, said good boy, and you'll hear me as I come back past my mum. Definitely got to be braver. So try and ride a bit more forward, let him go, said to myself this is the stride we're going on, and trusted him to jump the fence. I just took the flag behind there, but that's fine. So that was my plan. So then we moved on to these shoulder brushes. They're actually meant to be jumped on a straight angle between the 2, and I wasn't quite brave enough just to go straight for that, so I thought, well, I'll just give them a jump on their own and see how we get on. And annoyingly, they were massive when I walked up to them. They looked absolutely huge, and the camera just seems to lie all the time. He was absolutely epic. I absolutely love him when he's like this because it's so easy. Everything is so easy for him. He jumped lovely over both. We did them both separately, and he made a lovely shape. They were really good fences for him actually. They made him be really neat with his knees, so I was really pleased with that. And then I decided to be a bit brave and tackle going on the line. So this is the GoPro footage. Again, I was too quiet because I was a bit nervous of doing it, and it is supposed to be a bold 2 strides, and I chip one in, and I'm so grateful.
Well done, well done, well done, well done.
You can hear me there being massively grateful to my pony. And then you can see from the floor he chips one in, but bless him, still goes, still jumps it, makes an awkward shape, but he still went, and I was just too chicken to do it again. So we went away from that and went back down to another ditch complex, and again this had a couple of houses. It was slightly bigger, slightly deeper ditches, and again he didn't look. It sort of got to 1:30. You can see the timer is still on the GoPro footage, but I got to 1:30. I'd been on the course for half an hour and I was thinking, well, now what? Oh, we had a little run out there, missed that on the ground. I just didn't get him straight at all. I didn't give him half a chance. So made sure my line was better here, and he flew it. So complete rider error there. But yeah, I got sort of half an hour in and I was like, well, I'm kind of running out of things to do. It was so hot and the ground was quite hard. I was just a little bit concerned that I was going to sort of overjump him, but yeah, everything I asked of him, he was absolutely brilliant. You can see here, he's just so game for everything. It's fantastic sitting on him and being like that. So then I got brave again and I went over to the far side where there was a log. Oh, sorry, this is me going to the ditch again. All the angles, sorry. Yeah, jumped it back. Coming back, and again the footage from the floor. But yeah, he's just not ditchy at all. I'm so lucky. He went to Lincomb the other week and he was jumping a ditch with a stream through the bottom of it, and was quite happy with it. Lovely jump over the last bit there. So then we go over to the other side of the ditch, and it's a log to a step up combination. Again, I was being brave, so I backed off riding. Need to learn to be brave and confident. Gave him a bit of a rubbish shot at the step. You'll see better from this angle. So we come into the log again. We're still being a bit quiet. I was trying to get the right leg. I was getting too much into show jumping mode, and we have a nice jump over the log, and then I just take too much of a hold and give him absolutely nothing to get up the step, and bless him, he still goes, still jumps it. He's just so honest. So I came round again, and you'll see me jump it again, and this time I'm a bit braver, get my leg on, give him the power to be able to get up the step. They were quite sort of decent sized steps, and obviously he had one stride to another step, so you need to make sure that you're coming on with some power and let him figure out about where his legs go. So you can see already from that footage, he's far more forward, far more power behind, makes a better shape up, and then we continue on, go and jump our favourite fence again, go and jump the shoulder brush on its own, and I try again to keep him in that rhythm, and he absolutely flies it. Just absolutely brilliant that was. And this is the floor angle, so you'll see the difference here. So we're a little bit quiet into the log still, and then I just get my leg on, try and keep in that rhythm, and it's far better shape, far better picture going up that step. And again, going forwards. Obviously I don't want to go at full cross-country speed while schooling, so I don't want to hammer him, but I just need to get myself in that rhythm, that I'm not taking a pull and I'm jumping out of a rhythm rather than show jumping round and holding and sending and holding and sending. So that was really good. We then moved on to the trichanas. I think this is possibly the 90 and the 100 trichana, so I jumped the 90 one way, came back and jumped the 100 the other way, and then linked together and jumped the trichana to a corner. So this is me just jumping the trichanas from the floor, and again he didn't even look. Honestly, this horse is absolutely amazing cross country. I cannot find anything at the minute that I'm really struggling with. I think the only thing that he's still a little bit lucky with is jumping into water, but if I say go, he goes. He's absolutely awesome. Makes absolutely nothing of those trichanas at all. And you'll see that we come again, and they had a little box corner, so I jumped the smaller trichana to the smaller of the two box corners. Unfortunately, the bigger box corner was a little bit on the wrong line. You could jump the two together if you were feeling brave, and he was. I had to sort of go, no, I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So I couldn't really get a good line to the big corner, so I just did those two together. Now this line I'd been looking at from the start. It was a couple of sort of roll top spreads on a curving line, and I'd spotted it as I came into the field, and I remember when I first came in I thought, I'm not going to jump them, they're far too big, and this scary big wagon, he's never jumped a wagon in his life. And he made absolutely nothing of it. I don't know what I was worried about. I got him ridiculously close to the first bit and he climbed all over it, and you'd forgive him for ducking out the rest, but he keeps going. Again, you need to be bolder and better in the second half. That's much better. And then he flew the wagon. He was not bothered at all. So really pleased with that. He's seen lots of different fences now, so that's fantastic. And then we went back to the water. I always finish with the water anyway. This was sort of a continuation where I carried on from the previous combination, came down to the water, jumped in, and then came again and saw there was a corner to do as well. So did the corner out of the water, and then we come round to this fence. Now this blue arrowhead, I had a very bad fall 2 years ago now with Trusty over this. It was at Gatcombe in the arena eventing, and it's been a sort of nemesis fence. We climbed all over it, and Trusty sustained a puncture injury to the back of his heel. It was quite a nasty injury, So I felt very brave tackling that blue arrowhead again. I actually did it twice. So I did it on that occasion and he absolutely flew it, and then we do a combination of fences again, so the boat to the corner, round to the blue arrowhead, and again he just stays between the flags. It's like this horse knows where the flags are and he absolutely loves it. You see his ears prick, he knows where the fence is and he is going, he's jumping it. He didn't look at this fence at all, and it is the 100 arrowhead. We did come back to Oxstalls at the end of the year that he actually did puncture his foot when he was healed, and we jumped the 90 and that was down by the water again. And he wasn't bothered at all. I think at Gatcombe it just took him by surprise. We hadn't really done any arrowheads, and I was just really pleased with him that he didn't hold that against me. He didn't think, oh, this is the fence. It's just me. It's always the rider, isn't it? It was me thinking, oh, this is the fence we had a fall at. But yeah, he made absolute mincemeat of it. You'll see him come down here and he doesn't look at it at all. He's just going between those flags no matter what's underneath it. And then we come up fairly decent step and jump the wishing well on the way out, and again, you know, he's just looking for that next fence. He's off, he's happy. So yeah, we finished with jumping into water. As I say, Trusty used to be a little bit funny with water, where he could be a bit lucky, so I always like to finish a cross-country schooling session where I can with some nice jumps in and out of the water. Just makes him a bit more bold. It's very rare. I haven't really come across many cross-country courses that are at 90 and 100 level yet, where you have to do a jump in and out of water more than a step. So I always think it's good to sort of train technically higher than what I would compete at. I always think if I'm going to get him to jump a fence or a step into water, if he's just got to canter through water, it's going to make that so much easier because he's bold enough to jump in. So just riding through water is going to be a piece of cake. So this is the biggest step going in, and I think I carry on and jump the log the other side just to check that we've still got some steering, and he's fabulous through that as well. And this is the view from the ground. And you can just see him, he's looking, where are we going, Mum, where are we going? He's just so happy to get on with it. It's absolutely brilliant. He's so amazing to ride cross country. I could do it all day. I get to the point where I just don't want to get off, I want to keep going. And again, I jump this log in and jump the little stick pile coming out, and you'll see that from the ground, and that was the end of our session. So we did about 45 minutes of proper jumping. As I say, as you can see from the weather, it was very warm, very hot. The horse flies were absolutely horrendous, but he just didn't have an issue with anything. We jumped quite a bit of stuff really. There wasn't really any more questions I could ask of him, and I always finish my session in the water jump where I can, so long as I'm not going to upset anybody else wanting to get in. I was very lucky to have the course to myself this day, so we stood in the water jump and then got completely attacked by horse flies, which was a bit of a nightmare. So I walked around in the water for a little bit. It's just an easy way to get his legs cold before we walk back up to the lorry, and it's also a bit of conditioning as well, so being able to walk around in water, a little bit of conditioning, a little bit of stretching, making sure his legs are cold, making sure he's happy. You can see me batting all the horse flies off. They were horrific. You can see them even in the camera screen. We got completely eaten alive, and it just got to the point really in the water that it was a bit of a nightmare and we just had to go. But yeah, epic day, really pleased, can't wait for the next one. So that was our trip to Oxstalls Cross Country Schooling. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm really chuffed with how Trusty's coming along at the minute. He's doing really well. Amazing that he had a whole year off from going cross country, and we only managed to go out once last year schooling. He's gone back to it like an absolute duck to water. I'm really chuffed. We managed to do some more difficult lines today, some bigger fences. I'm just getting my confidence back. Breaking my arm has knocked my confidence a little bit, actually, I've realised. So it's been really good to see that I can actually get back to what I was doing before. And I've got this lovely boy to help me with it. So hopefully, come Lucinda Green, which is on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will hopefully be all guns blazing, jumping some big fences. You can't eat that. Jumping some bigger fences and getting really, really confident, ready for our first run at Oxstalls on Sunday. This vlog should hopefully be out on the Monday, and then we will do our best to hopefully get some footage from the Lucinda Green clinic and also our first one day of the year. So fingers crossed, everything goes to plan, and we'll see you again soon.